River Podcast.
Hello again, everybody. Welcome to the Celtic Forever podcast. I'm Xander, and I've got John here to go through everything Celtic that's happened over the last few days. The St Johnstone game, the Dundee United game coming up as well. We've got all the news, gossip, rumours, all that kind of stuff as well. We go through a whole barrel load of stuff to go through. In fact, let's say hello to John. How are you doing, John?
I'm all right. It's a good week after the result of the weekend. It's been pretty formidable for Celtic in Sunday, wasn't it? What a game it was.
Yeah, it was an absolute stunning day, wasn't it? A beautiful, scorching day. Into another final, John, against Aberdeen. It just doesn't get any better. One game away from a treble, let's be honest. That's what it is. One game, John. Just a wee quick one. Hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, and leave your comments as well, folks. We'll always reply to some comments as well. So if you don't mind doing that, subscribe, like, and comment, folks. That would be appreciated. Aye, John, into another final, yet another final, and a chance of yet another treble. We can't take Aberdeen for granted, obviously, but, you know, Aberdeen in the final, John. One game away from another fantastic treble. It just doesn't get any better than this, does it?
No, it's absolutely outstanding. It's been a really another really good season for Celtic. The Celtic fans are in cloud nine. You know, just about to clinch another treble. Aberdeen standing in our way. It's just a case of can we put Aberdeen to bed at Hampden like we did the last time, 6-0. That would be nice in the finals, Andrew.
Yeah, that would be absolutely lovely. I know it's a wee while away. It's the 24th of May, the final of this year, isn't it? It's a wee bit further on in May. It's near the end of May, so you can just picture it, John, can't you? Scorching, beautiful sunny day for Aberdeen at Hampden with Celtic, John. It just makes for a terrific final, doesn't it?
Aye, it does. I watched the semi-final with Hearts and Aberdeen. Half decent game, I suppose. Obviously had a good look at Aberdeen. They've got a lot of good players on their team. They're capable of beating Celtic, we know that. They're capable of beating any Scottish team on their day. They've got a lot of good players there. So it will be a tricky one unless their bottle collapses or Celtic just show up and be Celtic.
Yeah. Be Celtic, that's it. Be Celtic, you're onto a treble. That's the bottom line, isn't it? Right, John, before we move forward, let's touch on the news, gossip, rumours and other stuff that's happening round about Celtic that involves a fantastic club, John. And obviously first we want to have a wee word on the death of Pope Francis, John. Rest in peace to Pope Francis. He was just a superb Pope. I put that wee video on, didn't I? Just a wee, you know, tribute, if you like, to Pope Francis, John. Just a very sad loss for millions and millions of people worldwide. Rest in peace to Pope Francis.
Aye, absolutely, aye. Rest in peace, Pope Francis, a good Pope he was. Every Pope's a good Pope. We're talking about the current one, Pope Francis, and rest in eternal peace to that guy. I know the Celtic team went and met him. Got a good day for them, meeting the big man. But look, rest in peace to him. That's a holy Pope there, and rest in peace to Pope Francis. And a big loss, isn't it? And I think the funeral's on Friday. It was pretty quick.
Yeah, it's a very quick funeral, John. It's Friday, isn't it? Friday, Saturday. I can't remember what day it is, but it's just a few days from his death, you know. So, and it was Easter Monday as well. He passed away, wasn't it? It's very sad after that. It was a beautiful Saturday, wasn't it? Then we get that news of Pope Francis. So as you say, John, rest in peace to Pope Francis. And the new Pope will be announced in I think it's a couple of months, into 8 weeks or so. Anyway, John, we'll move on for that, John. We'll move on because we've got a lot of Celtic stuff to go through. Quite a bit, actually. But obviously we've got the party weekend coming up this weekend. If we get a point, John, and I'm going to say it's a big if. I think we're more than capable of going to Tannadice and getting at least a point.
Definitely, aye. We can get a point there, no problem. Although Dundee United, they're on a wee bit of form just now, I think. They're a half-decent team, United. And I like Dundee United as a team, you know that. I've always liked Dundee United. But obviously Celtic come long before they ever will. And I'm just hoping that Celtic got there with the same attitude they've had in the last couple of games, which is banging in loads of goals for fun. And we hope they got there with the same attitude. Get it tied up by half-time. And the Celtic fans can hopefully celebrate in the second half all the way to the final whistle.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Obviously, we're going to do the preview of that after we touch on the news, John. So we'll get into a wee bit more detail, I feel like. But the news as regards to Celtic today and in the last few days, John, the South Stand, John, or the main stand, if you like, it looks as though Celtic are looking at plans to upgrade the main stand. Now, this has been in the pipeline for a wee while, hasn't it? A lot of Celtic supporters have been wanting this stadium levelled off to be the same level, but it looks as though Celtic are looking into upgrading the south stand, John, or the main stand, whatever you want to call it. That would be tremendous if they pump some money into getting that upgraded, John.
It would be amazing. I know Celtic Park, it's got a capacity right now. It's got the biggest capacity in Scotland, apart from Murrayfield. I think Murrayfield holds 67,000. Celtic Park, 60,000 and a half, 60,500 or something, I think the capacity is. And to upgrade it to be the biggest stadium in Scotland would be absolutely amazing. Maybe take the capacity up to even 70,000, 72,000, something like that.
Yeah, it would be something else to see the stadium levelled off. You know, that would be absolutely tremendous. But we don't know if that's in the plans or whether it's just going to be upgrades, John. But I'm hearing it's going to be the stand being levelled off to the same level all the way around. So that would just look tremendous, wouldn't it? To see a more modern Celtic Park, John, paradise. So we'll wait and see what happens with that. That would be tremendous if that does happen. I just heard the rumours about that earlier on today. If anyone knows a wee bit more about that, just leave your comments and we'll read the comments out in the next podcast. But if you know anything else a wee bit more about it, let us know in the comments, John. Right, moving on. This idiot McCoy's, John, he's got Rodgers linked to Spurs, isn't he? You know, he's just choking for Celtic to lose their top manager, Brendan Rodgers. He's got him linked to Spurs to replace Ange Postecoglou, John. I think Brendan will stick to his guns this time, John, and he will at least, see out his full 3-year contract at Celtic, John. So McCoy's trying to cause a wee bit of stir at Celtic Park, but obviously the Celtic fans don't really listen to him anyway.
Does anybody actually listen to him? Look, he would love, obviously, Brendan Rodgers to leave Celtic. That would be his dream for that to happen. He wants to see Celtic upset. Look, it's the same as Celtic fans. We want to see Rangers upset. That's what we want most, apart from Celtic winning titles, of course. But no, if he wants to say that when there's absolutely no truth in it whatsoever, that's up to him. He wants to kind of try and stir it a wee bit. Well, if that's his game, I'd say best of luck to him, but the guy's just an absolute clown. There's absolutely no truth in that. Brendan Rodgers will see out his 3 years at the very least. I believe that 100%. I don't think he's going anywhere, and I don't think there's any truth in what McCoist is saying. I don't believe anything he says. I mean, for a guy that all he takes out of football games is what a touch that is. That's all he can take out of a football game.
Yeah,
that's all he's got is what a touch that is. That's his new nickname, what a touch McCoist. The guy's just an absolute idiot. Can't say any more than that. It's under. There's absolutely no truth in what anything he says is. I don't believe him anyway.
Yeah, that's it. And that's what he's hitting out. He's got this press on his side, so he can spout his nonsense on whatever channels that he's involved in, John. This is the guy that's got the loving for the bigoted songs at Ibrox, you know. That's the exact same guy, John, we're talking about. Okay, moving on. Greg Taylor, John, it looks as though he's going to be staying. That would be tremendous news. Brendan Rodgers has actually come out now, John, and says he wants him to stay. He's going to try and get this contract over the line. It would just be tremendous if you've got Greg Taylor and Kieran Tierney as a left backs for next season, John, going to Europe and domestically.
Aye, and I think Brendan will try and balance that, between Greg and Kieran Tierney. He'll try and balance that. He'll give both of them I think during every game, he'll give both of them a shot. So I don't think it's going to be a case of Greg Taylor's going to be spending all his time on the bench. He will get game time, Greg. He's a cracking wee left back. And you notice the difference he's made to Celtic since he came back in. It's a huge difference.
Yeah, it's a huge difference, and it's been a huge difference since a few of the players that were dropped. I think just Liam Scales, coming back into the team. That's also helped. James Forrest coming into the team, Greg Taylor coming into the team, John, players like that. The sort of longer term players there, the ones that have seen it and done it before, John, they've came back into the team and it's steadied the ship a wee bit into it. Not that the ship was unsteady in the first place, but you know what I mean. Just the performances of the last two games have been absolutely tremendous, John, and we're just hoping to take that into Dundee United on Saturday.
Oh, definitely, aye. I just think it was a case of a wee bit of complacency with Celtics. I mean, they lost to Sevco 3-2, and I think that was complacency. I don't think we know how bad Sevco are. They're absolutely dreadful. They should never be coming to Celtic Park and beating Celtic. Wee bit of complacency there, being 16 points ahead. A wee bit of off form. St Johnstone as well, so far ahead. Aye, it's just a case of being so far ahead, but I think Brendan switched it up a wee bit. If you want to be complacent, I'm going to play the bench players, give them a shot, teach you a lesson, and you'll learn from that. And if you're learning from that, you'll get back into the team. And this is what's happening. And guys like James Forrest and Greg Taylor and Liam Scales have made a huge difference.
Yeah, of course. I don't think they should have been dropped in the first place, but that's my personal opinion. But then you look at your Nicholas Kuhn, Trusty, players like that, John. It gives them a wee shake up, doesn't it? So whenever they're back in the team, John, you want to see the exact same. You want to see the performance levels up a couple of notches.
Well, you've got to earn your place in the team. You can't expect to show up at St Johnstone and let Sevco beat you at Celtic Park and remain in the team, with poor performances from guys like Nicholas Kuhn, Jota, just guys like that just very complacent, I think. And they're great players, fantastic players. Let's make no doubts about that. They are fantastic players and they should be first team starters at Celtic, but I think their levels dropped for a few games, and I think Brendan did the right thing. So this is why you're seeing, a faster Celtic, a more energetic Celtic as well. Guys like Forrest and Scales and Greg Taylor giving their all for the jersey. That's what we want from guys like Jota and Kuhn as well.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Jota's been dropped as well, hasn't he? So, we've got a cup final coming up. We've got a game at Ibrox coming up as well, John. So Brendan's doing the right thing. He's tinkering with the squads and he's just trying to get the performance levels up a wee bit. And that's what's been happening. So, as I say, let's take that into Dundee United and then Ibrox after that, John. So, all right, before we get to the big preview of Dundee United, John, just one more wee bit of transfer gossip. Strelic, the Bratislava striker, John, we were linked with him in January, £7 million. Celtic are going to go back in for him as well, John. So that's the rumour mill started also, John. We're going to be linked with all sorts of players in the summer because we have got the money there, John, to spend. We do have money. But Strelic, John, he's a prolific striker. I know you've probably never heard of him, but he has bagged in the goals for Bratislava, John. And we were interested, and Celtic are continuing their interest in this striker.
I've heard of him. I've definitely heard of him. Maybe it's because we spoke about him before. I don't know. But the other one that never goes away is Visgarden, isn't
it? He'll be linked in the summer as well, John. You get these ones that they never go away, but they never actually signed, didn't you? So we've got all that to look forward to in the summer, I suppose, John. But that's the one that's in the rumour mill today. I just thought I would bring it up. We are looking for another striker, John. I suppose we really do need another striker since Kyogo left.
Dyson's doing no too bad, is he? But I know what you mean. We need a bit of cover there. Big Adam's still no hit top form, I don't think. I know he banged a goal in at the weekend, but he's still no hit top form, has he?
No, and Dyson's doing terrific. Absolutely, this player of the year, isn't he? Dyson, but Johnny's played Adam through the middle of the last two, so we definitely need another striker. Even if it's just for backup, John, we need a third striker, if you like. So I know Dyson, he can play that striker role, so we need that extra option, I suppose. But that will come, John, in the summer, and let's hope he gets all his business done early in the summer transfer window, John, so we can get prepared for the European qualifier that we've got.
Well, this is it. And Celtic, when it comes to transfers, very slow. They take their time. So we'll wait and see. Well, I don't think there's any point really talking about this right now, is there? But I know what you mean. We have got to get our business done really early, like you says, to get ready for this Champions League qualifier. And that's a must for Celtic, I think, to get into the Champions League. We really need to get there again and get the Bucks. We need a better squad for the Champions League. I don't think we're quite equipped for it, although I think we held ourselves up quite well in the Champions League this season. I know we had a couple of heavy defeats there, but a lot of good wins as well, Xander. Bayern Munich, very unlucky with Bayern Munich. Drawn to them, that was unlucky. But I've got to get ourselves ready for it. Another couple of additions, another striker, another kind of dynamic midfielder maybe, and I still think we need another centre back.
Mm. Yeah, we'll go into that, as you say, in another podcast, but I do agree with you, John, and there's going to be some leaving as well, isn't there? So that's always the case when it comes to the summer. Right, we'll park that there, John. There's a wee thing I wanted to have a wee word on before we get to the big preview of Dundee United party weekend. The party, can't wait till it starts. Hopefully it's a nice sunny day. But John, a wee thing I wanted to have a wee word on, a wee 5 minutes, if you like. Get your opinion on this, and anybody else that has an opinion on it, leave a comment. If you remember in the last podcast, we were talking about the BBC not giving Celtic any credit, and now we're one step away from winning the treble officially, John. Still no credit, still nothing, no well done to Celtic. They're tremendous, a decade of dominance, 13 league titles and 14, nothing, there's no mention of it, right, John? So what I wanted to do, right, was go through it. This might be quite sad in my front, right, but I've went through the BBC and Clyde One Super Scoreboard pundits, John, right? And I wanted to have a wee look at who these channels are employing, right, John? I wanted to have a wee run through everybody they employ, right? And this will shock, maybe it won't shock you, but it shocked me. Right, so Michael Stewart of Hearts, right? Willie Miller of Aberdeen, but, his allegiances do tend to lean towards Rangers as well. Derek Ferguson of Rangers, Alan Preston, right?
He's from Brighton, Xander.
Yeah, he's from Brighton, that's right. Yeah.
Willie Miller, aye.
Yeah. This is the BBC ones I'm running through just now, John. I'll get to Clyde in a minute. Alan Preston.
Right, well, start again, just to give everybody a long list of people employed by them, and I won't interrupt.
Yeah, okay, I'll start again then, John. Right, Michael Stewart, not of Celtic persuasion, of Hearts, right? Willie Miller of Aberdeen, born in Bridgeton. Derek Ferguson, ex-Rangers player. Alan Preston of Rangers persuasion. Kenny Miller, ex-Rangers player. Stephen Thompson, ex-Rangers player. John Robertson, ex-Hearts player, but we know where his allegiances lie. Chick Young, we know where his allegiances lie, John, as well. Kenny McIntyre, need I say more? David Curry. Rory Loy, ex-Rangers player who hasn't got a good word to say about Celtic. Ian McCall, we all know about him, played for Rangers, ex-Rangers player. Richard Foster, ex-Rangers player. John, this is unbelievable, when you go through this list. Richard Foster, ex-Rangers player. Jonathan Sutherland, not too sure about him. Alistair Lamont, Thomas Duncan. And the only ones of Celtic persuasion I can really see here is possibly Liam McLeod, who is an Aberdeen supporter, Paddy Bonner, ex-Celtic player, and James McFadden. John, what do you think of that list?
I know you know why I don't listen to it.
That is unreal. It's unbelievable. No wonder Celtic are not getting any praise.
Don't forget the four Muppets on the bench at Sevco.
Yeah, that's it, John, because they'll be back at BBC once they get sacked in the summer. So they'll be back at the BBC. So you're right there as well. But that is an unbelievable list. Let's move on to Clyde. Clyde won Super Scoreboard. This is one I don't listen to, so I had to go onto their website to get a list, John. And you can maybe tell me any more that I've missed out. Gordon Duncan. The name tells you everything there.
He's supposed to be a Motherwell fan. By a name like Gordon Duncan, you ain't a Motherwell fan.
Yeah, well, that's it. Mark Woody, we know about him. Alison Robbie, is it, John? Alison Robbie? I'm not too sure, but I can't read my own writing.
Alison Robb. I've never heard of a female on Radio Clyde. Never heard of that.
I think she's just a reporter, John, when the football's on. Roger Hanna.
Right, Roger Hanna, right.
Yeah, we know about him, obviously. Gordon Dalziel, we know about him also. Mark Wilson, of ex-Celtic player, of course. So there's one. Ka-ching. So out of a list of about 40 so far, that's two Celtic players, ex-Celtic players. Alex Ray, ex-Rangers player, obviously. It's unbelievable, isn't it? And the last of all, John, Hugh Keevins. And who knows what his allegiances like, to be honest with you. So there you go. 2 out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 48, John. 2 out of 48 of Celtic persuasion. People wonder why we're not getting any praise or credit for winning treble after treble, doing well in Europe, total dominance in Scotland. Well, there's your reason why, John.
I'm trying to think of other ones. I don't think Kenny Miller's on Clyde anymore, but he might be. I don't watch it all the time, so I really don't know. But what's the other Rangers player that?
Well, John, that's the list I've read of the 2005 pundits list of 2025, John. So I don't know.
He's possibly still there. I don't watch it all the time, so I can't tell you. But the one that I have seen recently that's still there is Andy Halliday. I know he's still there.
Who's on it, John?
Andy Halliday.
Halliday, right? So there's one I've missed. Yeah, that's another Rangers player. So there you go.
Well, I'll tell you something about Clyde. And it's a stupid wee thing. You might think anybody listening go, these guys are mental, but I look at these things and they stick with me. In the chat, there's a wee chat window when you're watching Radio Clyde on YouTube. There's a chat window, everybody can chat.
Yeah.
And you can use the F-bomb, the F word, swearing. You can use swearing words. But right. You can't say anything linked to taking the mickey out of Rangers like Sevco. You can't say that. It doesn't allow it. They don't allow your comment if you put Sevco in. It doesn't allow your comment if you put liquidation in. Liquidation's banned for the chat, but you can swear and curse and do all you want. But anything linked with Rangers, zombies not. You can't say zombies. You can't say Sevco. Liquidation. It's a joke. You know what I mean? So that tells you who's running that channel.
Yeah, that's quite bad then, actually. I didn't know that, John. That is quite bad, actually. And it's nothing to do with us being crazy. That is, if that's true, John, you can't mention the fact that they're actually called Sevco because that's their official name, John. That's quite bad. You can't mention liquidation. Why can you not mention liquidation? They were liquidated.
Anyway, you can't mention zombies either. You can't mention zombies. You can put the wee emoticon in, a wee zombie, but you can't say it. Your comment doesn't go up. There's hundreds of things. See anything that you can link with them, it's a joke about them. You can't do it. Nothing. But they can use, the thing that they always go on about. I'm not going to say it, but you know what they're always going on about, right?
Yeah.
That you can say that, no bother. So they can say what they want about Celtic, but when it comes to Celtic fans having a laugh at them, it's banned. There you go. What do you think of that? You've got to change your words and all that for it to go through.
Well, there you go. Yeah, I didn't realise that, John. That's news to me. That's quite bad. The biggest joke at the lot is the fact that they still call it Old Firm. That's the biggest joke of the lot, to be honest with you. That's something that doesn't exist. Old Firm just doesn't exist. Anyway, John, it's a wee eye opener, isn't it? That the whole situation's a wee eye opener for every Celtic fan that's out there.
Aye. Well, Radio Clyde's certainly an eye opener for me, and like I says, it just tells you who's running that radio station when they're banning words like liquidation out of the chat. It's just disgraceful, to be honest with you. Yeah, if you want to say liquidation, you've got to put liquid nation or something like that, or put a wee apostrophe in it somewhere or break it up. You can't type the word, they don't allow it. It's mental. Zombies, seppo, you can't say it.
That'll be news to quite a lot of Celtic fans, actually, that they've actually blocked certain words in their chat. All right, John, we'll move on, right? Because I just thought that was quite interesting. All these ex-Rangers players in the Scottish media, John, and then there's the four actually in charge at Ibrox, John. So it's quite funny, isn't it? We'll move on, right, John? Let's move on. Let's get into the big preview then. Big Dundee United game at the weekend up at Tannadice. For won the league there, obviously. What was it, 2008? I think we said 2004 on one of the podcasts, but it was actually 2008 when Big Jan Vennegoor of Hesselink scored the winner, went it, and Aberdeen beat the Rangers 2-0 up at Pittodrie. So we're looking for a sort of similar outcome, if you like. Even a draw would do us up at Tannadice, John. But what we want to do is we want to go into this game and beat them convincingly. You know, nothing's a given, obviously, but what we want is to put 3 or 4 past them, John, and head into Ibrox in the best possible form.
Aye, exactly. 3 or 4. That's just the first half. Yeah, I'm wanting another 5-6 nothing to Celtic in this one. I'm not saying that's going to happen because Dundee United are pretty good at Tannadice. They're a half decent team. But it's a big weekend. I'm looking forward to it as always, though. You know, I'm expecting a nice sunny day there. Have you got the weather forecast? Normally, you've got that ready.
No, I've not got it, John, but I'd imagine it is going to be nice and sunny because I think that is the forecast for the next few days. But yeah, I think it's going to be a beautiful day, John. And I think we need to do what we've done the last 2 games, John. I think we need to come out the traps very fast, John. Put 2 or 3 past Dundee United in the first 45 minutes, John. And then we don't want to stop in the second half. We want to keep going in the second half and then finish with another couple of goals, John. That's what I'm looking for anyway.
Well, this is it. We want this in every game for Celtic. The weather up at Dundee on Saturday's rain, by the way. So we're not getting a nice sunny day in Dundee. Aye, rain on Saturday, unfortunately.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I'm just looking at that just now, actually. And the kick-off's at 12:30, so it's going to be 12 degrees and no rain, but cloud, but rain before it and just after it as well. So obviously we could be looking at different forecasts, but quite a miserable day up there on Saturday, folks. So that's the weather forecast. But it doesn't matter, John, because the party will be back here in Glasgow, won't it? If we get that point we're looking for, the party will be here in Glasgow, and it doesn't really matter what the weather is, let's be honest. But let's have a wee look at the weather in Glasgow on Saturday, and I think it's very similar to Dundee, isn't it? Say from 3 o'clock onwards on Saturday, it's going to be okay. Cloud and sun in Glasgow, John. So the weather in Glasgow is going to be perfect for a party.
Oh, well, bring it on. Let's just hope that party can go ahead. It just depends what Celtic show up, doesn't it? I'm sure Celtic will get this one over the line, Xander. I've got a good feeling about it.
Yeah, very good feeling about it. The players are on a high. The manager's on a high. The manager can't keep the smile off his face. It's lovely to see. So I think I think you're right. But obviously Dundee United, John, they've got something to play for. They're looking for that 3rd place position. They're just 3 points behind Hibs. So they've got plenty to play for, John, European places, etc. And they're on form, like you said earlier on. But let's run through the officials for this one. Don Robertson, he's the referee. Greg Aitken, he's the man on the VAR. So that's your 2 officials, if you like. As I said earlier on, the last time we played Dundee United, it was a draw. It was a nothing each. Snooze Fest, we dropped 2 points, if you remember. I think it was around about the 18th of December, something like that, maybe the 28th. I can't remember. It was late on in December anyway. We got a nothing each draw up at Tannadice, John. But, you know, I don't think that's going to be the case this time. I think we're back on form. I think with that 1 point needed to win the league, it's going to drive the players on. And I think the players and the manager will be looking for that big result, if you like, to take into Ibrox.
Oh, aye. It's a different Celtic right now. It's a very resurgent Celtic. They're on the front foot. They're pumped up. They're ready to go, Xander. This Celtic team are ready to get this league done and dusted. I think that's the feeling I get about Celtic right now. They want this over the line and they want to go into Ibrox as champions and What about the Guard of Honour at Ibrox? I wouldn't even want them to do it, Xander.
No, never do, and I've never done it, and I would never want them to do it. Don't need their Guard of Honour. The honour's all at Celtic Park, John. That's our honour, winning treble after treble. We don't need rivals to stand at the side of the park applauding. Not that we'd ever do it anyway, John. So no, I'm quite happy if they don't do it, to be honest with you.
Maybe they'll have soldiers jumping off the roof. I don't know.
Aye, maybe aye. Well, maybe need some sort of protection for the Celtic fans there, John. Hopefully they've still got the nets up at Ibrox, but we're jumping ahead, John. We're jumping away ahead. Let's stick to Dundee United for the time being. The betting, they always like to do this, John. 17-2, I make that between 8 and 91 for Dundee United to get the 3 points. 5-1 the draw, and 3-10 Celtic to get the win. You know, 5-1 the draw, that would even do as well, wouldn't it? But for the win, you're talking 3-10. So just the usual, John. When we play in Scotland, Celtic hot favourites, but I think it doesn't matter. But the bookmakers say this time the players seem buoyant, and I think they're going to be up for this one.
Definitely. I think Celtic players are going to be up for it, and I don't go by bookies now. That's anything can happen in a game. We know that, so we never take anything for granted. We'll never do that. But you can only look at Celtic's current form. They're banging in goals for fun. I think they're in the mood, and that's why I think they'll get this one over the line.
Absolutely, John. And it's but what I'll do then, I'll quickly run through the Dundee United's predicted starting 11, John, and then you could have a wee think while I'm talking what you think the Celtic starting 11 is going to be, right? So it's going to be Walton in goal. Then it's going to be Harding, Adebayoga, Strain, Stevenson, Dalby, Ferry, Trapanovsky, Middleton, Gallagher, and Docherty for me, John. That's my predicted starting 11 for Dundee United. That's their team to try and get the 3 points, John, because obviously they're looking to finish in that European place. But I just think Celtic are going to be too strong. And if it's that team going to be for you, John, what's the starting 11 that's going to be too strong?
I would not change a thing. I would leave it as it is. The team that started against St Johnstone, I would start with that team. Definitely start with that team. Scales, yeah. Definitely Scales, Vickers, Sinisalo, Johnston and Taylor, Hatate, McGregor, Engels, Dyson, Adamida, and James Forrest. Definitely, I keep the same team. I thought they did a great job, all the boys. Why change what's not broken?
I don't think he'll change it at all, John. I totally agree with you, 100%. I think he's going to stick with the same starting 11. Why wouldn't he after a performance like that, especially at Hampden Park, John? Absolutely tremendous, wasn't it? We'll touch on that after the preview. Actually, we'll have a wee word on that game. It happened at Hampden at the weekend there. All right, John, that's fair enough. I totally agree with you. Dundee United, the last 14 times they've played them, John, they've no beat us once. They have had 4 draws off us, though. They have drawn with us 4 times. Celtic have beat them 10 out of the last 14. So I know that goes for nothing, but it just gives you a wee guide of where the two teams are at, if you like, John. And obviously, you said earlier that Dundee United are in form. They are in form, John, because they've won the last 3 games, beating St Johnstone, Hearts, and Ross County, John. 3 decent wins there for Dundee United, John, and that's why they're only 3 points behind Hibs.
They're a good team. I watch a lot of Dundee United. They're a really good team. Celtic need to be on their guard with them. They can be a bit defensive at times, though, Dundee United. They can be very defensive. So I think Celtic, they're going to be up against pretty much the same as what they're up against with every Scottish team. Dundee United with that wee extra bit of pace up front, though, but for the counter-attack, it's going to be backs against the wall for Dundee United against Celtic. And it's going to be a case of, can you break us down? Well, we've seen that the last couple of games for Celtic, and they've banged 5 past each team.
Yeah, that's true, John. And 5 would be lovely, wouldn't it? But as long as we get the point that we need, that's all I'm looking for, to be honest with you. But we do want that big win to take into Ibrox, don't we? And what I think, maybe I'm out of line here, but I think the last 3 games, sorry, against, well, the last two anyway, definitely, against Dundee United have been a bit boring, I think. I don't know if it's the way Dundee United set up against us, John. It could be that, but a nothing each draw, 2-0 win at Celtic Park. You know, I think both games were a wee bit boring.
Aye, they can be a wee bit boring, Dundee United. But they're a half decent team. You've got to really keep an eye on them because they're good on the counter attack. So we will need to keep an eye on them. But I just think Celtic should be too strong. It should be far too strong for them, Xander. I can only see a Celtic win here.
Yeah, that's the way I feel right now, John. I know we're doing this preview quite early, but Big Jim Goodwin, he's got them, up to third place. They've got them playing some decent stuff, John. They're hard to beat. They really are hard to beat, and that's why they scraped through with these 1-0 wins, didn't they, Dundee United? They're very hard to beat. They've got a good solid defence there, John, at Dundee United. Right, score prediction then, time, John. We'll do the predictor in a wee minute. It's currently 12-11, John, between us two. Both of us got one right last weekend. And if both were in the semi-finals as well, John, you got the 5-0 to Celtic. Congratulations. That was a great prediction from you, by the way. And I got the 1 each. There was a bit of debate about this one, John. Isn't there? 1 each. You said 2-1 to Aberdeen. I mean, you look at that final scoreboard, whether it was in 90 minutes or extra time, John, it does say 2-1 to Aberdeen. But I said 1 each in the 90 minutes, John. So a wee bit of controversy there, but we'll take it as one score each, and that makes it 12-11.
I am happy with that. I know I says 2-1 to Aberdeen. It was 2-1 to Aberdeen, so I was right. But it didn't happen in the 90 minutes, sadly. Yeah. But I know I'm happy to accept that. You did say 1-1, but you also said penalties. That never happened. But you did say 1-1 in extra time and penalties. So I would say you're the one that got it right. I did get the score right, but sadly not in 90 minutes. I'm happy to take that. I got the Celtic result correct, which is who cares? But
that's it.
I'm just happy. I'm just happy Celtic won. It's going to care less if it was 1-0 or 5-0. And don't get me wrong, at 5-0, I was hoping for the full-time whistle to get that prediction right.
Yeah, that's it. It goes for wanting the full-time whistle to who cares. That's quite good, isn't it? No, John, we had this walloper in the comments, didn't we, who said, you predicted Bilbao to beat Real Madrid. Right, well, you predicted them to draw with Real Madrid and attain a 96-minute winner for Real Madrid to beat Atletico Bilbao at the weekend there, John. So you were 30 seconds away from getting it right, but you've not to give up your day job, John.
You're always going to get some clown in the comments. The world's full of clowns, they're everywhere. If you read comments in any YouTube video, you'll come across quite a lot of wallopers, to be honest with you. I mean, YouTube's full of them. They sit with their wee keyboard typing comments that make no sense, but just a walloper. It made me laugh, actually. It's quite funny that people actually think they know everything when they leave one comment and then they can't answer you and all that stuff. But you're always going to expect that on YouTube, walloper central.
Yeah, you expect it in every platform, John. YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. As you say, they'll sit behind their wee keyboards. If you're going to leave a comment that makes sense. I mean, for goodness sake, we've got nearly 25 predictions right between us, and that's actual correct scores, John. No just a win or a loss. Correct scores, 25 if I got right. Anyway, John, that's enough. Give that clown enough airtime. Right, let's do the predictor then, John. Sorry, I didn't get your score for the Celtic game. We're away off there, weren't we, in a wee tangent. No, what's your prediction then, John?
Well, I'm fully expecting Celtic to win, but I don't think it'll be by a great amount of goals. I'm going to say 2-0 Celtic.
Aye, 3-0 for me, John. Clean sheet and 3 goals to take into Ibrox, John. That'll be perfect. Whether it's 2-0, 3-0, it's ideal. It's a win to take into Ibrox as champions, John, and that's what we're looking for. Right, predictor time. Let's good luck, by the way, to Celtic on Saturday, but I think we'll be absolutely fine. Right, John, the predictor then. So as I say, 12-11 between us two. and always keep a wee listen out for the new competition for next season, folks. We've not done the correct score for a few weeks because we weren't getting a lot of comments or entries into the YouTube. We're getting hundreds and hundreds over on Facebook, but not much on YouTube. So we're going to modernise it. We're going to make it different for next season, folks. We need you to enter your name into the competition, and then what we want off you every week is a guess at the correct score for the Celtic game only. And if you get it right, you win 3 points. If you get one of the scorers, you get a bonus point. And whoever's at the top of the league at the end of the season wins the big goodies basket full of Celtic goodies, John. Just a fantastic prize. But we'll go into that in a wee bit more detail as the season goes on, John. So let's get into the predictor then. And I want to start with one I don't normally start with, but I quite like watching these games. And you don't know much about them, John, but I do watch them. So just a wee prediction of you. Inter Milan against AC Milan on Saturday, the big Italian derby.
Obviously, we're well aware of the teams. I used to watch the Italian football when it was on every weekend. Do you remember that years ago? Yeah. Channel 4.
That's right.
Golazzo. There was always an Italian game on. I loved watching it. Yeah. I think the older I've got, I've lost interest in watching other nations and stuff like that. But I'm going to go for a, off the top of my head, result here, Xander, because I don't know about league positions or whatever, what team's doing what. So I'm just going to go for 3-1 AC Milan.
There you go, 3-1 AC Milan. That's interesting. I don't know whether on the league here, probably Juventus is at the top in Italy. I'm not sure myself, but just as a wee, just to add to one of our predictors, John, I'm going to say 2-1 to Inter Milan then. So you're going for AC Milan, I'm going for Inter Milan. Right, John, let's move on. Let's get to the SPL roundup. Predictor, here we go. Hearts against Dundee.
Hearts put out the cup against Aberdeen. Might be on a wee bit of a downer. If it's at Tynecastle, aye.
Yeah.
I'm going to go for a Hearts win. I'm going to say 2-1 Hearts.
You know, John, I'm actually going to go for Dundee. They have they desperately needed 3 points, didn't they? So 2-1 to Dundee for me. Kilmarnock against Ross County.
Oh, Kilmarnock, Ross County. I'll go for a home win on the plastic pitch. I'm going to say 2-1 Kilmarnock.
But sorry, you broke up there, John. What was the score?
2-1 Kilmarnock.
2-1, right. 2-1, John. I'll say 1-0 to Kilmarnock. So a win for Kilmarnock for me also. So the last one in the bottom six is Motherwell against St Johnstone. I mean, if St Johnstone are going to stay up, they really need to win. But Motherwell are also dragged into that relegation battle, aren't they? So, John, what you thinking?
Don't know what I'm thinking, but I know what I'm hoping. I'm hoping for a Motherwell win. I want St Johnstone relegated after that ball boy stuff at McDermott Park. I told you that at the time. I want them down there. They want to cheat against Celtic, then they don't get any respect half of me. I'm hoping for I'm going to go for 4-2 Motherwell.
2-0 Motherwell. I think you're right, John. I think St Johnstone are down. And I think Motherwell will just be too strong for them, especially after that thumping they received off Celtic, the 5-0 revenge mission. 2-0 Motherwell for me. Okay, into the top six then, John. Aberdeen against Hibs. That's an interesting one. That's two decent teams. You know, we don't know if we want Aberdeen to be on the lowest morale possible going into the final, John. We don't know, but what are you thinking on that one? Aberdeen Hibs.
That's a good game, that one, isn't it? Sounds a good game. I might watch that one. It's a tough one, isn't it? I'm going to go for a Desmond, a 2-2 Xander.
Yeah, it looks like it could be close, doesn't it? But I'm going to say, I think Hibs will be too strong, John. I think it's going to be 3-1 to Hibs to cement their position in, no cement, but I think Celtic will beat Dundee United, obviously, and I think if Hibs win, that more or less cements it, didn't it? 6 points with 4 games to go. That would more or less guarantee Hibs third place.
I would say so, aye, but I don't think they'll win. I just get a feeling it's going to be a very close game. that one, especially at Pittodrie. It's a hard place to go for any team, you know that. We all know that. I think Aberdeen will be up for it. They'll have a wee lift getting into the Scottish Cup final. I think they'll be up for it, Xander. Hibs a good team though, so that's why I'm calling a tight one here. I'm saying 2 each.
Yeah, fair enough, John. Fair dues. We'll wait and see. And dead rubber of the year, St Mirren against the Rangers, John.
It's a tough one, isn't it? I'm going to go for a St Mirren one. I've got to go for a St Mirren one here. I'm going to say 1-0
Right.
St Mirren.
Yeah, 1-0, John. I think they're going to do the treble. I think they're going to beat them as well. 2-1 St Mirren for me in that one. I think they're a decent wee team, especially at St Mirren Park, aren't they? And Rangers, you know, what can you say about them? Another trophyless season, gubbed out of Europe by Bilbao, embarrassed by Bilbao, I feel like, you know. Yeah, 2-1. Yeah, 2-1 for St Mirren, John. Okay, Brownie watch Ayr against Queen's Park.
Bruni's sliding into in the points. He's not going to catch Livingston now. Just I think was it 5-1 or something they get thumped. Was it 5-0 or 5-1 against Livingston?
5-1, 5-0. You're right, John. Yeah, 5-0. And that was unbelievable. That's the biggest defeat of the season, but that wasn't expected, was it? I mean, I think one of us said a draw, and the other one said Bruni's Ayr, John. So a 5-0 defeat. That's a wee bit of a shock there for Ayr United.
No, I think I called it. I think I says Livingston would beat Ayr United. I'm sure I did. I could be wrong.
You did,
John.
Sure. You did. Yeah, you did. You said 1-0. I think you said.
I thought I says Livingston would beat Ayr, but by 5-0 I wasn't expecting that. Oh, that's bad, isn't it? So I don't think Bruni can catch Livingston now. That's it. The top two's been decided in the championship. So, so Ayr United against Queens. I'll go for a Bruni win. I'll go for a 2-1 Ayr United.
Yeah, I think Queens are in a wee bit of trouble there, aren't they? The Conquerors at Ibrox are in a wee bit of trouble in the league, John. So I'll say 3-0 to Ayr, sorry. Bruni's Ayr United. And last of all, John, last one on the predictor is Dunfermline against Airdrie. Dunfermline at home. Neil Lennon in charge, obviously. Lenny watch. What are you thinking, John?
2-0 to Lenny's mob. Dunfermline.
Yeah, Lenny. I'll say it's tough when you don't really know much about the teams, but 1-0 to Dunfermline. That'll be a close one there, I think. All right, John. Good luck with the predictor for you. Good luck for me, and good luck to every other team in the league, including St Mirren. We'll do a wee catch up on the post match. We'll do a wee update on that, and we'll run through the results, John. Okay, let's move on to St Johnstone at the weekend there. What a performance, like you said at the top of the programme there, John. What a performance it was. It's just the whole day was written, that beautiful sunny day, very warm. Yeah, and then the teams come out, John. The atmosphere was just absolutely tremendous. The Celtic fans were up for this one, weren't they?
Aye, they certainly were. That was a great day. Aye, the sunshine, the 200 St Johnstone fans that turned up, well done to them. That's ridiculous, isn't it? Semi-final, and they can only bring a handful of fans. It shows you what they're, you know what I mean? It's just, that's bad for a semi-final, to be honest with you. 90% of the stadium was Celtic fans. So, it was a beautiful day. Just thoroughly enjoyed the performance from Celtic, especially the first half. I enjoyed getting my score predictor correct, all that stuff. Good day, thoroughly enjoyed it. And I did say before it, I want to see Celtic reaping big revenge on St Johnstone, and that's exactly what was delivered.
Delivered. That's exactly, it was, on time delivery, wasn't it? And St Johnstone, by the way, have always been a poorly supported team, haven't they? So there's not much they can do about that, I suppose, isn't it? But yeah, John, 5-0, you got that bang on, and it could have been a lot more, the chances that we missed as well, to be honest with you. But what I wanted to do was run through a couple of the players that stood out for me, and right away I want to start with Forrest, James Forrest. That's the best performance I've seen for young James Forrest. I know he's no young in football terms, but next to me, he is. But John, that's one of the best performances I've seen in the wee man in years. What a performance he put in.
He was outstanding. I think the whole Celtic team were outstanding on the day. But James Forrest did stand out. I thought he was out of this world. Thoroughly enjoyed his performance. He was denied an absolute stonewall penalty. How that was not given, I don't know, Xander. But they must have turned their VAR screens off or something and pretended there was something there to see, because if you think that's not a penalty, get out of the game. You should not be in the game. He's put his arm right across James Forrest's face after lovely skill getting into the box. He gets punched in the face, basically. I know he doesn't get punched in the face, but you know what I mean. Arm right across his face, right to the ground, no penalty. And that's disgraceful. That's just a disgraceful decision.
Yeah, it was pretty poor. That was a stonewaller for me as well, John, because you're running at that pace, and he's so strong, physical. Wee Jamesy just now, he really is. He takes it around about 3 or 4 of their defenders into the perfect position to hit the shot. Why would you go down? Why on earth would you go down? You're already winning the game 4-0, so there's no need to try and win penalties, John. So yeah, well remembered, John. That was a pretty bad decision. But anyway, we didn't get it, John. What about the decision for their goal? 4-0. It was a lovely finish for the boy. I can't remember, is it Kirk, was it, that scored the goal for St Johnstone? What a finish, John. And there was a push on Adam Eder in the build-up. That was correctly disallowed for me.
No, I don't think it was Kirk that scored the goal. A young boy, anyway, some finish. What a finish that was. And when I seen the replay, I was like, nah, that's getting chopped off. That's a shove on Adam Eder. Correct decision for me, Xander.
Yeah, it's a clear push, and you've got the co-commentator, Michael Stewart, questioning why it was disallowed. You push the guy in the back, you can't win the ball because you've been pushed in the back, and they run forward and score. Why on earth would that goal be allowed to stand? And you've got commentators like Michael Stewart, John, hitting it with nonsense like a disgrace, it was disallowed. This is the kind of thing we're up against with this Scottish media, John. It really is. But I suppose we're used to it now. We run through a full list of these, members of the Scottish press, John, and you can understand why they're having crazy views like that.
Well, if that happened to his team, say Hearts, and one of his players was pushed like that, would he be saying disgraceful decision? Of course he wouldn't. It's because it's Celtic, he says that. He's pushed Adam Eder. It's as simple as that. You can't put your 2 hands in a player's back and shove him off the ball. It's a free kick all day. So, correct decision for me. Goal doesn't stand. So, I can only say well done to VAR for that one, but they were bad on the penalty decision. I thought that was a stonewaller.
Yeah, stonewaller. But doesn't matter, John. It's gone. The game's gone now. We're into the final. By the way, Mackenzie Kirk did score that goal, John. The one that was disallowed.
Was it Captain Kirk?
Captain Kirk scored the goal. Yeah, it's a decent strike, wasn't it, John? I would have been proud of that one myself. Goalkeeper, no chance. But you kind of give goals for, if he's not pushed, the Celtic player's got the ball at his feet. So you kind of give goals for that. That was a great decision, actually. It's VAR spotted that one, and it was disallowed. So fair play there, John. A wee word on Calum, John. Our absolutely fantastic captain, Callum McGregor, John. Another stunning performance for Calmac. What a player. He's going to be so tough to replace when he eventually does retire, John. Hopefully that's not for another 2 or 3 years yet, but we've got a job in our hands trying to replace him.
Aye, absolutely. Aye. That's why I'm saying next season we should be getting in a dynamic central midfielder like Callum McGregor, because you don't know if he's going to be injured or whatever during the season. So I would definitely need another central midfielder that's as good as Callum McGregor. Good luck with finding somebody like that. But He was out of this world, didn't he? He's absolutely outstanding. Thoroughly enjoyed his performance. We all love wee Calum. He's just a Celtic legend, really, isn't he? A good servant as well. He was loyal to Celtic. He stayed with Celtic when they could have went anywhere, but he decided to play his full career at Celtic, and we can only be grateful for that. Thank you, Calum.
Yeah, thank you, Calum. As you say, totally loyal, John. Totally loyal to the club, and he's getting rewarded with trophy after trophy, isn't he? So, yeah, absolutely tremendous for Calum. I'm just trying to think if there's anybody else. Big skills, John. Big skills. Another, flawless performance. Still some Celtic fans out there that would rather see Trusty in there. I just don't get that, to be honest with you. Big £6 million man Trusty. He is a Celtic player, big Trusty, of course. We love all the Celtic players, but for me, it's got to be Scales and Carter Vickers in there in every single game.
I just think Scales knows what it means to be a Celtic player, and I don't think Trusty, at this point in his Celtic career, I don't think he actually realises what it means to be a Celtic player, whereas big Liam Scales knows. He's a Celtic man. He loves Celtic, and I also think he's a better defender than Trusty, to be honest with you. A lot of people might disagree with me there, but I think he's a better defender.
Well, that's what I was going to say. For me, it's down to ability, and I think Scales has got more ability as a defender, John. So that's what about. Whether it's about knowing what it's about to play for Celtic or not, John, that's a separate issue. But for me, it's about ability. He's just a far better and a far superior defender, in my opinion.
In my opinion as well, I would have Scales in my team before Trusty all day. I'm not saying Trusty's bad. It might just be a case of he hasn't settled yet at Celtic or something like that. I'm not sure. But for me, like I says, I would just think Liam Scales is to me, in my opinion and your opinion, he's a better defender.
Yeah, that's it. It's playing for that eye to see. Big Trusty, he is decent. He is a decent defender. He does do good things on that park, but he also does some mistakes as well, John. So that's why the manager's picking Scales. That's why he's in before Trusty, John. Trusty's fully fit.
I just think Liam as well going forward. I think he's better going forward. I know he's hit a couple of wayward passes at the park. That's just down to lack of match sharpness. But going forward, him linking up with Greg Taylor on the left and Greg Taylor linking up with Dyson Maeda. That's where Celtic were dominating the game from. Liam Scales, Greg Taylor and Dyson Maeda linking up. That's where Celtic are strong right now, and that's why I don't want to see the team changed for the game against United. Yeah,
that's it, John. And then into Ibrox as well. Dyson Maeda, John, another 2 for him. That's him up to 33, I think it is, for the season. An unbelievable season from Dyson Maeda, isn't it? 33 goals for a winger. I know a few of the games he played up front, John, but another 2 at the weekend against St Johnstone. We're looking for another couple against, he's not quite had this hat trick yet, has he either? But another couple against United just to put him in top form going into Ibrox.
Aye, chances are they will bang another couple of goals in. We don't know yet, it's not happened, but would you bet against it? Dyson banging in a couple of goals against any team. He's just an unbelievable talent. I enjoyed his performance. I really enjoyed the 3 linking up: Liam Scales, Greg Taylor and Dyson Maeda. I think them 3 link. Calum McGregor as well. He was obviously pivotal in the middle of the park. But I think down the left-hand side and Liam Scales, that's where Celtic were at their strongest at the weekend. Also, James Forrest and all on the right, he was
brilliant.
Aye, I just think the left-hand side of the park, that's where we were at our best at the weekend.
Aye. I mean, I'm over the moon with James Forrest, and he's keeping Kuhn on the bench. Dynamic Kuhn. He's still a brilliant player, Nicholas Kuhn, but he's keeping him on the bench, John. And it's Nicholas needs to get his finger out, to be honest with you, if he wants back into that team. No, he was just brilliant. Very strong, physical, fast, pacey. Got to remember the age of James Forrest, and he's just back from injury as well, John. So, no, brilliant. It was just didn't we get that goal, John, in the league, didn't we, to make it, was it something like 16 seasons in a row, something like that, to scored a goal in every season. And I remember his very first goal. I was there when he scored his very first goal at Celtic Park. So I've just got a wee connection with V James Forrest. I've always loved him as a player, and and I know you're the same, John. You love him as well, and he's going to finish his career at Celtic, John. But it's just brilliant to see the wee man on that type of form.
Aye, he did that before he was injured and he came back in again. Or he was kept out of the team and came back in and started putting in amazing performances. He's no a slacker, is he? He's bang on the ball every time he comes on for Celtic now. He's undroppable right now the way he's playing, to be honest with you. I think he should be keeping Nicholas Kuhn on the bench because to me right now he's the better player out of the two.
Yeah, that's it. All right, John, one more. As you said, Greg Taylor, John, we should never have dropped this boy, in my opinion. I know Schlupp came in, he done a decent job when we needed him, but Greg, you know, I think was he injured for a couple of games, and Schlupp got the nod, and then got his couple of games. Schlupp, who's also a decent player, but I think it should have been Greg, you know, straight back into the team as soon as he was fit, John, to be honest with you. But no, he was out for the team for a good few weeks there, and it's just brilliant to see the wee man back in the squad. And please, Brendan, get him signed on this 3-year, 4-year contract, because I want to see him stay at Celtic, and I want to see him see his career out at Celtic, to be honest with you.
Aye, well, there's still a few Celtic fans. They're not a fan of Greg Taylor. I don't get that at all. I've always liked Greg. I know he's like every player. They can have a bad game. Greg has had a few bad games, but on a whole, I'd say maybe 90% of Greg's Celtic career, he's been a top performer. And I love him. I think he's brilliant. I think he operates that role brilliantly. He gets into the centre of the park as well. He operates in there, moving in from the left to the centre. I think he plays that role flawlessly. I love him. And I think the fact that he hadn't been in the team for the last maybe 6, 7, 8 games or whatever it was, maybe that's why you've seen a drop in Celtic performances in that area.
I'm going to do a Mystic Meg, John. I think I'm going to do a Mystic Meg right now. And I think wee Greg Taylor's going to run a mock at Ibrox. There you go. A re-inverted fullback, John, is going to be up and down that line there, linking with Dyson Maeda. Yeah, I can't wait, John. There you go. You heard it here first. Utter nonsense, isn't it? Anyway, John, that will do it for the St Johnstone game. Just a wee quick man in the match. Who was your man in the match on Saturday, John? Sunday, sorry.
We've just been talking about him. I think he ran the show on the left-hand side and in the centre. He was linking up brilliantly with Scales and Dyson Maeda. It's got to be Greg Taylor for me, Xander.
Brilliant, wasn't he? Absolutely brilliant. Top notch. What a performer. What a player for Celtic and serial winner. Just get him signed up on that contract, Brendan. But for me, it was Calum. I thought Calum was just totally dynamic. The full game, he was everywhere in that park. All right, John. That will do the St Johnstone game anyway. Comments? You want to run through a few comments?
All right, I thought we were just about to finish there, but
extended highlights today.
well, what was your goal of the match?
Right, that's a good point. I thought the opening goal was vital in this one. I thought Callum's goal was absolutely tremendous. What a player Callum is, isn't he? It was a great strike. I actually thought St Johnstone's goal was an absolute belter, you know, but it was disallowed, so we can't say that was goal of the match. I'm trying to think of the other ones that was in. Dyson's had a couple of sort of easier chances, didn't he? Trying to think if there was any screamers in the game for Celtic, was there? Can't remember. But just the one that sticks out for me, John's Callum's the opening goal. For what it meant and the fact it settled the team down, and it was a fantastic finish as well. So I'll get to Calum.
All right. I was thinking Jota's goal was a nice goal. That was just about on the touchline when he put that across the keeper. I thought that was out of this world. That finish, the cross from Alistair Johnson and the finish from Jota. I thought that was an outstanding finish.
Beautiful, wasn't it? The cross alone was out of this world, John. Out of this world. And then for him to finish it for that angle, yeah, that was a nice goal, John. But I think we were 4-0 up at the time, but it doesn't take away from an absolutely fantastic finish, John. And nice wee touch with the wee guy, get to run into his idol's arms, right into Jota's arms. That was a nice wee touch as well. So well done to that wee guy for getting onto the park, getting by the stewards and getting a big cuddle for Jota.
Aye, that's always a nice wee moment to see that. Calum McGregor, by the way, he was an outstanding performer. I'm just giving my man of the match to Greg Taylor because of he's been out the team. There's a lot of news surrounding him, and he goes out and puts in a performance like that, and he made a huge difference, I thought. But Calum McGregor, he was. If I could give man of the match to two players, it would obviously be Calum and Greg Taylor, but you can't do that. Anyway, where do you want me to read these comments from, Xander? What podcast or whatever?
Just trying to think. I can't even think of videos. I put a few videos in it. I've been video crazy over the last few days. I've got videos all over the place.
You've got the McGregor and Eder interview. You've got the Jota with his goal and the celebration with the wee boy, and you've got Brendan and Neil Lennon, and you've got the tribute to Pope Francis. We'll leave that one out, I think.
I don't know, John. You pick, maybe the interview with Brendan and Neil Lennon, maybe. I don't know if there's many comments in that, is there?
No, there's only a couple. We'll just go for the...
Whatever, John, whatever.
We won't go for that one. I'll go for the interview with Calum McGregor and Adam Eder.
Right, okay.
One club says Calmac, stunning player, outstanding. Should have been man of the match, and he just got shunned by me.
Well, he should have been man of the match. But Greg Taylor was man of the match for you, John, because he was brilliant. That's the bottom line, isn't it? But no, Calum, John, I bet he just Calum was 31, 32.
Aye, 31, 32, aye. I think he's coming up for 32, Calum.
I mean, the way he was moving about that park against St Johnstone, I obviously got to bear in mind, I'll take into account, if you like, the opposition we were up against. But that's the same opposition that beat us just 2 or 3 weeks ago, John. So you can't have it both ways. So it's either the level of opposition or he played brilliant against a team that just beat us 2 weeks ago. So to me, it's the latter. I just think he's just a dynamic player, John. He can do that against any opposition, John. And I just want to see him play his 35, 36.
Sorry,
John, on you go.
We don't know if he's going to play that long. You don't know how long any player's going to play for. Unless you're a goalkeeper, you've got a few years left, and Craig Gordon still playing at 42. You know.
That's it, John. And if Modric, who's a midfielder who plays just a very similar role, can do it to his 39, 40, John, I'm sure Calum can do it as well.
I don't see why not. He's a fit boy. He can go for years.
I know Modric is a world-class player, John, but so is Calum. Calum's done it as well, trophy after trophy. I know he's done it in Scotland, but he's also done it in the Champions League. And Modric, I know he plays for teams like Real Madrid, John, and he's a top player. But Calum didn't get the chance to play for Real Madrid or one of the Spanish teams or one of the English teams, John. But he's just a top player, and look at the performances he's putting in just now at 31, John. Absolutely tremendous.
Oh, it's amazing. Aye, a great fit for Celtic anyway, and he's loyal to Celtic. I think he could have went to other teams. He's happy at Celtic. That's where he wanted to be. He's winning trophies. He's getting good wages. Why move anywhere else? The boy's happy. He's spent his whole career at Celtic, and we're the ones that are lucky to have had the pleasure of watching him every week, Xander. He's just out of this world. Yeah,
out of this world, John. And obviously, that was a wee bit of tongue-in-cheek there, John, because Modric has won European Cups, etc., John. But you know what I'm saying? He's just as dynamic. He's got just as much quality. It's just that Modric is obviously surrounded by, multi-million pound players at Real Madrid, isn't he? So, all right, John, what else you got for us?
Well, if Calum McGregor was surrounded by multi-million pound players at Real Madrid, he'd be just as good as them.
Yeah.
So it's not far-fetched. If I was surrounded by multi-million pound players, I would look good as well. You know what I mean? But there we go.
What about your football attributes?
Football attributes were terrible, but I still look good.
All right, mate. All right. You froze a wee bit there. Right, on you go, John. What else you got for us, buddy?
Right, James Doran says, great performance all round and great to see Ida get among the goals. I agree with that. It was good to see the big man get on the score sheet. Xander, I thought, it still looks a bit cumbersome to me, if you like, a bit clumsy, a bit kind of slow, but seeing him getting on the goals is always a good thing because it can only help his confidence, really.
Yeah, he's a top player. He really is, John. He's just had an up and down season. It's a shame for him because he's been dropped out of the team for quite a bit of the season, hasn't he? Kyogo getting picked before him, and then Dyson getting put up front before him as well. But he's beginning to slowly work his way back into that number one position, if you like, or number 9, whatever you want to call it. But that striker position, John, he's slowly but surely making that his own. Brendan's now put Dyson out in the left the last couple. We'll wait and see what he does against Dundee United, John. We'll wait and see. But no, it's good to see Big Edom back in the team for a start and scoring goals. Superb. That's why we paid the money for him.
But it's like James said, getting in amongst the goals is what we want to see for every striker at Celtic. So it's a good wee booster for him, that. I think he'll maybe, hopefully, push on. He will start against Dundee United, I think. And we'll see what he can do there. Moving swiftly on. Thanks for that, Jamesy boy.
Thanks, James. Cheers, pal.
We would never sell our club. Easy victory today and made light work of Ballboy FC. See, this is it. We would never sell our club. The way I say it. That really angered me, that, Xander. You know, the Ballboys. No, the Ballboys' fault, by the way. It's the players or whoever that was running round the whole length of the park, right round the other side, telling every Ballboy not to give Celtic the ball back. So for me, it was great to see Celtic absolutely scalping them for that. Anyway, easy victory today and made light work of Ballboys FC, and they are clearly hurting at the other side of the city, knowing that Celtic is heading for another final next month.
Aye. Yeah, the only thing they've got is their dummy takeover, you know, for this invisible millions, John, that is going to get pumped into their team. That's all they've got to grasp onto. You know, what I wanted to do was have a wee word on that, just for a wee minute, John, if you don't mind, right? Because they're a team that under Clements, you know, play some decent stuff. You know, they got some good results. You know, John, they were closer to Celtic in the league of what they are just now. You know, they're now further behind Celtic. They were doing well in Europe. You know, they were getting through round after round in Europe. Now they're out of Europe, John. So, you know, it's total deluded fans, John. They're deluded. They now love Barry Ferguson, who's further behind Celtic in the league. They're now out of Europe. They've got a trophyless season. I just don't get it. I don't get why they love this Barry Ferguson so much, John, and why they're grasping onto this invisible millions, John, that they think they're going to get with this takeover. It's just total nonsense.
I really don't know. I know it's nonsense. I just don't know what they're thinking. They love Barry Ferguson. Obviously, he's one of their legends, isn't he? Square ball Barry. Play the ball square, that's all he could do. Absolute dud. I mean, there's been a lot of good Rangers players in the past, but I'll tell you something, he was not one of them, was he?
No, this was under your, you know, when they were going through all the tax stuff, wasn't it? He was their captain then, wasn't he? So, no, John, it wasn't even a great player. You know, as you say, pass to the left, pass to the right, pass it back the way. That was Barry Ferguson. From what I can remember, watching him against Celtic, John, that's what I remember for Barry Ferguson. But no, they love him over there, John, and I just don't get it. You know, but I don't think he's going to be their permanent manager, is he?
Nah, I don't think so. One of my memories of Barry Ferguson was big Arthur Boric running past him with a Celtic flag, and he went to shake Arthur Boric's hand, and big Boric shoves him out the way. That's my memory of Barry Ferguson.
The biggest memory I've got of Barry Ferguson was it Big Bobo scored a goal against Rangers, and he took his tap off, and he's all muscular. And Ferguson scored in the same game against Celtic, and he took his tap off, and it's like, I I mean, Johnny Longleg running a bit wee skinny arms. That's what I remember. That's what I remember about Ferguson. Hilarious.
He was supposed to be their hard man or something, wasn't he?
Aye.
Hard man. Mr. Muscle.
Mr. Muscle. Brilliant. That's what I remember. Big Bobo taking his tat off after scoring against them.
I've got a lot of good memories about Big Bobo. I always remember there was a big stramash in the centre of the park, big Celtic and Sevco players in a big circle arguing and shoving and all that. It was something to do with Bobo Baldy. And they just emerged, Rangers players flying left and right, and this big Hulk comes at the crowd, Big Bobo just shoving them all out the way and all that. It was hilarious. Just Rangers players flying everywhere with Big Bobo shoving them all.
I love Big Bobo. What a player. He's just an absolute rock, wouldn't he, of a player? Rock of a defender. A lot of Celtics fans blame him for losing the UEFA Cup. He never helped matters, but up until he got sent off, we were definitely in that game. But maybe it was a bit of a stupid red card, wasn't it? And it just made the whole task impossible, didn't it? But I wouldn't say I personally blame him myself. And what a player for Celtic as well, John. An absolute brilliant big defender, Big Bobo.
Yeah, he certainly was. I liked him. One of the better defenders at Celtic, Big Bobo. He had a wee mistake in him now and again, but generally speaking, he terrified strikers, didn't he? He terrified everybody. He was an absolute colossus for Celtic, Big Bobo. I loved him as well.
Brilliant. Him and Big Albi, wasn't it?
Big Johan, Big Dolph Lundgren. But they're great players, great days at Celtic. Listen, that's the end of the comments for that. I'll just give a couple of people a shout out, Sander, and then we'll head off it.
All right, go for it, John.
Big hello to Roseanne. She left a few comments. And she loves the music, by the way. The music for this show is fan-dabby-dozy. Love it. Thanks, Roseanne. I'll take the credit for that. That's my song.
Yeah, and that's good. It's brilliant. All the theme music has been really good. I like it all. I think we're on the third or fourth one now, John. But I think they're all brilliant. You've done a brilliant job. Thanks very much.
Hey, bother. That theme was based on kind of something like the Who would do. The intros of the Who. They're quite a powerful rock band. That's what I based it on. I wanted it to sound pretty big. I'll probably change it again next season. You know me. But thanks for that, Roseanne.
Yeah, thanks, Roseanne. And if anybody wants John to write some music for them for tens of thousands of pounds, just get in touch. It's not a problem.
I send a lolly my way. I'll be happy with
that. Thanks, Roseanne. Cheers, pal.
Tens of thousands, eh? All right, if you were getting that from music. Do you know how much money I've made out of doing music, Xander?
Much.
Absolutely nothing.
I know, that's one. I mean, a guy that's got your talent, and people don't know what I'm talking about because they don't know you, John. Or most people don't know you. But I know you, John, and I know what you can do. And you sort of wasted your talent, if I'm going to be honest with you, John. You could have made yourself a lot of money.
Listen, I know I could have, but I didn't, so I can't go on about it. Thanks anyway, mate.
That's it.
It's not about who you know, Xander, that's all it is. It's about who you know, your luck, all that stuff. But there you go. For some things are just not meant to be.
Yeah, that's it, John. That's it. And there's no any art or anything anyway. You just get on with it, didn't you?
I still like making music and all that stuff. I like doing that. It's just a hobby and I enjoy it. It can get heard on the podcast and I still do music. So it's just something I enjoy doing, Xander. I don't have any regrets about never taking it anywhere,
No. You've never told me any regrets either, John. So no, 100%. And it's all good stuff. I love the stuff you make for the channel, John. It's just, again, thanks very much, buddy.
No problems, mate. Anytime at all. There'll be a new tune coming next year. If anybody wants to pay me money for it, it's up to you. Anyway, thanks anyway, Roseanne. And Paul McEwen. Hello, Paul.
Hi, Paul.
Magic Blaze is the absolute walloper that left the comment. You want me to read it out for a laugh?
Yeah, go for it, John, because people wonder what we're talking about. Yeah, go for it.
Magic Blaze, I don't know if this is a Sevco fan or a Celtic fan, because he left HH at the end of his comment, as in hail, hail, or maybe it was ha ha, I don't know. But anyway, Magic Blaze said, Athletic Club just scraped by Rangers, and you expect them to beat Real Madrid? Ha 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 ha. Shows what you know about football, so don't quit your day job, HH, whatever that means. Right, so let's break down his comment. Athletic Club just scraped by Rangers. Right, how did they just scrape by Rangers? Explain that to me, Xander.
Well, obviously, everybody, his comment is a nonsense. Everybody, I mean, there was that. I think it's the most replies I've seen to a comment, John, actually. And all the time I've been doing this, Celtic fans getting annoyed with this guy. Which is good because they're on our side, I suppose. But, you know, we didn't ask people to leave comments on this guy. They're doing it off their own back. Yeah, how did they scrape by? No, they got gubbed, John. I mean, Atletico could have 10, 5, 6, 7 off Rangers over there. And they just held on for the draw at Ibrox, you know, because they knew they were going to take care of them over in Bilbao, John. So, yeah, right away, point number one didn't make any sense.
Well, that's point number one. For me, saying Athletic Bilbao scraped by Sevco is the most laughable thing I've ever read in my life, because that was 2-0 going on anything Atletico Bilbao wanted it to be. They were very wasteful in front of goals as well. They were walking about in second gear, probably, taking it easy. If they wanted to go up a gear, they could have. So I don't know what you're talking about there. Anyway,
yeah.
He says, do you expect him to beat Real Madrid? Well, I didn't expect him to beat Real Madrid. I expected them to draw. They almost did, like you says earlier, Xander. It took 96-minute injury time for them to score. So I was nearly right, very nearly right.
And the fact it's just a prediction.
It's just a prediction. It's just a bit of fun.
Yeah.
So, and then he had a laugh at that. He thought that was so funny. He put ha ha about 20 times. Maybe he's still laughing. Maybe that's why he's no replied. He's still laughing to the day. I don't know.
And I think somebody left a comment. Reading back on the comments replying to that, somebody left a comment of 4 times Bilbao have beat Madrid in the last 2 years.
I don't know anything about Atletico Bilbao, apart from they've got links with Celtic. But if they've beat them a few times, I'm sure they play in the same league as them. I'm sure they've turned them over a good few times. But I mean, is it any bigger surprise than St Johnstone beating Celtic a couple of weeks ago? You know what I mean, Xander? These things happen. You know, your home league, smaller teams can turn over teams like Real Madrid or say Liverpool or whatever. You'll get smaller teams turning them over anywhere in the world, Xander. You know what I mean? It happens everywhere. So what's laughable about that? It happens in domestic leagues. Smaller teams turn over the big teams.
Yeah, 4th beating 3rd. It's never going to happen, is it?
Anyway, he says, it shows you what you know about football. Don't quit your day job. Well, I don't claim to know everything about football. All I love is Celtic, really. So, and Scottish football in general, apart from Sevco. But that's how much I used to know a lot about the game, all the clubs and all the leagues around the world, but I lost interest in it. All I really need to know, I'm doing a Celtic podcast, and all I really need to know about is Celtic and the league that Celtic play in. That's all I need to know about, and that's all I want to know about. So get it up, you mate. I'm going to tell this week.
Get it up, you. All right, John. I'm going to give that clown enough airtime. Right, John. Any more comments? Any more shout outs?
Mad About Football. Hi, mate. Thanks for all your comments.
Hi, cheers, Mad About Football. Cheers, buddy.
We've already done Jamesy boy.
Yeah.
Udif, Paul McEwen already says that. That's it. I'll just leave it there, Xander.
Yeah, I know. Thank you, everybody that left a comment in the pop video, because there was hundreds of comments from different people that I've not really seen before. But so thank you to everybody that left their condolences to Pope Francis. Thank you, everybody that's left a comment in general on the channel. All comments are welcome. Any nasty ones, you'll get blocked from the channel, and the comment will get deleted. Sometimes it slips through the net. I don't notice it to a couple of hours after it's been posted, John, but they will eventually all get deleted and you'll get blocked. So that's no problem. Right, the new competition, folks, just listen out for it in the post-match on Sunday. We're going to do the post-match Dundee United on Sunday. We'll hopefully be champions by that point. I'll go through the new competition in a wee bit more detail, folks. But it's just to basically score predictor into a league table. Whoever gets the most points at the end of the season wins the prize. So that's the general idea. Right, John, a wee sum up for you, John. We'll call it a day. Big game on Saturday. What's your wee thoughts before we leave, buddy?
Aye, well, the new competition is basically just a league table. You just join it and get your guess in, and if you don't have to, all you have to do is get the correct score, and you get 3 points.
Yeah,
simple as that.
that's
Guess
it.
the correct score, 3 points in the bag. You're climbing up that table. It's going to be exciting. The end of the league.
Yeah.
Just like when the league ends, will you be top of the league? Will you get the big prize at the end of the season? We'll need to wait and see.
And you get that bonus point, remember, John, if you get a goal scorer as well.
Well, I would drop that and just make it wins.
No, I think the bonus point will make it a wee bit more interesting, because in case we don't a tie, John, but we don't want as a tie at the end of the season. We want a clear winner, don't we? Don't know. Let me think about it, John. But that's the gist of the idea anyway. It's a correct score league table, and everybody that wants to enter has to enter before the start of the new season, folks. So plenty of time, and we'll go into it in a wee bit more detail on the post-match on Sunday.
Aye. Anyway, summing it up, let's get it over the line, Xander. That's all I can say. Let's another big performance from Celtic. That's what we're looking for. Another 3-4-5-0. Go out there, play like champions, wrap it up, get it set for Ibrox. Happy days, Xander. We party when Celtic get back to Glasgow, and obviously we'll party in Tannadice as well if we win. Yeah, bring it on.
Yeah. Party on. Nice sunny day in Glasgow on Saturday. So that's what we've got to look forward to if we can get that point over the line. And that's another title in the bag, title number 55. All right, John. That was a long show today, wasn't it? A long programme today, well over an hour. So thanks for coming on, buddy. Thanks for going through all that. We'll catch everybody on the post-match on Sunday. And we'll go into more detail with the new competition, folks, on Sunday as well. So good luck to Celtic. Good luck to Brendan. Hail for now. 55 on the way, and we'll catch you all later.
Catch you later, Xander. Hail, mate.
Hail, buddy. Catch you later.
The Celtic Forever Podcast.